what level of business do you think somebody should feel financially and time free? Like what level of revenue or profit or income? I know it's going to be different for everybody, but not vastly.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that I have this saying that that when you start a business, first you do what you have to do, then you do what you're good at, then you do what you want to do. And so you I don't necessarily believe that you've ever made it, because for me it's not about there being an end. For me it's about the process. It's like, hey, how am I growing? How am I developing? How do I feel about like work every day? Am I excited to get up? That's what matters to me. And if you get those things right, your results are going to be crazy. So, but in terms of financially, it's like, and that will vary. I live off of very little, even though a one percenter, or probably even above that, because I never really did it for the money. I did it for the freedom. And you're absolutely right. Time and money go hand in hand, but there's so much variation because some people are like, well, yeah, but I want a yacht to be free. And other people are like, look, man, I just want to kind of travel and, take my RV. And so it really depends on the personal level, but on the business level, it's really simple. Is my business growing without me? Do I have the financial resources so that it grows? And that bottom line it's got to be healthy. I've got to be netting 20+% without me. That's another thing, is that a lot of attorneys think, well, look at, on my net profit, but they're not paying themselves anything. It's like, well, no, because if you left, you're going to have to pay somebody to do your job. So if your firm is growing, and that's, the reason why I say growing is because if it's not growing, it's dying. And we definitely don't want that. But it doesn't have to be doubling in size every year, but it has to be growing. And if it's growing and it's making a profit, I think that's when you've made it. And then the only variables are, okay, well, how am I living personally in terms of financial resources? And then what does growing look like? I've never been the guy to build a business that, yeah, we grow 2 to 3% a year. That's boring. That's not going to get me out of bed. Even with our law firm, like, you're just scaling quickly. Just hired another attorney yesterday, always hiring, but that's a personal thing because it carries with it inherent risk. Every time you're changing and growing, there's inherent risk, but there's also risk in not doing that, right? Because the firm would just kind of wither away if you don't, you're not trying to build it. So, but finding that balance for you is most important. Have those conversations with your spouse, like, hey, what do we need to make so that we're comfortable? We can do what we want with the kids. We can travel, all these things. And the cool thing about doing that is that everything above that, you can invest, into something public or reinvest into the firm so that it grows. It just gives you a bunch of leverage, because most people, when they make more money, they just spend it. That's just not my approach.